Hello everyone, this is Roshni, a legal intern with LEXIS and Company. In this video, I'll be dealing with one among the very major, discussed topic, that is the Women's Reservation Bill. So, what is Women's Reservation Bill? Before moving on to that question, let me address certain important things about the position of women in the country. We all know women are the come under the vulnerable category of India, and as of 2018, only 24% of the legislators across the country were women. So we could just see how less the representation of women is in the Legislative Assembly and the Parliament. So according to data from the Stockholm-based International Institute of Democratic and Electoral Assistance, an increasing number of nations have implemented some form of affirmative action for women in public offices. Even though the constitution speaks about appointing women in their local bodies, there is no particular exact constitution for appointing women, or 33% reservation for women as it was proposed by several leaders in various times has been implemented at the constitution so far. So that we have to take into consideration. Right now, the Women's Reservation Bill has been passed in the Rajya Sabha and still is pending in the Lok Sabha, and it has failed abruptly and continuously in the Lok Sabha whenever it's been introduced. And the bill is all about providing a 33% reservation exclusively for women in the Parliament and in the Legislative Assembly. So this is all about a very quick introduction for the Women's Reservation Bill and about the status of women in India. So basically, when did this Women's Reservation Bill start? This is the question we are going to address right now. So the primary inspiration of this Women's Reservation Bill was from the bill that was passed in for a constitutional amendment that was approved in 1993. So basically, this constitution amendment was based on one third of the council leaders or Sar Panchayat or Gram Panchayat shall have women as their leaders. We all know that it's still in practice, and it's also in the Indian constitution. So the governments in the past and the current governments have taken efforts in order to bring a 33% reservation in the higher categories of government bodies, that is the Parliament and the state legislative assemblies. So some of the important facts about this bill is that on September 12, 1996, the Women's Reservation Bill was first submitted by the NDA government headed by H.D. Deve Gowda in the year 1996, as I said before, in the Lok Sabha. And the bill failed very badly in that particular time, and people were not actually, the MPs were not actually very welcoming about this particular law of providing 33% for women in the Parliament and the legislative assemblies. So next, so the next time in 2008, the particular law comes into picture again, and again it fails in the Lok Sabha. And in May of 2008, in the UPA 1 administration led by Congress, reintroduced the measure in order to reserve 33% seats for women and in the Lok Sabha, and failed again. In 2010, what happens is that on March 9, 2010, it failed again, and it was still in the Lok Sabha, and it was passed in the Rajya Sabha. Though it was passed in the Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha passed the bill, but Lok Sabha didn't pass the bill yet, and it still continues to be in the same unpassed state in the Lok Sabha, and it has to be brought in for discussion. Is the major request made by various women organization or ladies organization across the country to provide, or feminist organization, in order to provide with a 33% reservation for them, and a bill has to be passed in the Lok Sabha too. And while all this discussion, the Samajwadi Party's leader Lalu Prasad Yadav of RJD has been a very strong opponent for this particular bill being passed, considering the fact that, and he says that it would be against the concept of equality enshrined under the preamble of the constitution, and men will be affected by this particular law again. So this is one thing about this particular a law in general. And right now, currently, the current scenario of the women's reservation bill, as I said before, it has to be passed in the Lok Sabha yet, and it is pending in the Lok Sabha, in the lower house of the parliament. The law will only be enacted if the current government with a majority of the Lok Sabha fully supports it. We all know that the NDA government has a majority in the parliament as of now, and if the parliament and if the NDA government chooses to pass this bill, they could actually do that. So it's in the hands of the parliament and the NDA government right now, who have the majority in the Lok Sabha, and we'll wait for a particular move with regards to this particular action. Thank you so much, and have a great day.